Power recovery. Take back your energy from those who are acting as energy vampires towards you. Sometimes, without realizing it, we ourselves allow others to drain us from our life energy without realizing it most time. And we don't understand that this may come from our relationships with family, friends, even our own spouses. And there are ultimately relationships of dependence, and we give them the source of our life energy. But so too are we weakened because of this, and others learn to feed on energy which is coming from us, our own energy. And every time we seek acceptance and approval and reward from others, every time we persistently think of how someone's going to think about us or of us, and we have to act appropriately so that we have acknowledgement and acceptance from them, we're giving them our life energy. Even when we think we're thinking positively about someone, if this is within the context of attachment, we're still giving them our power and our life energy. So they're not basically taking it from us. Well, they're accepting it, but we're giving it to them in this way. Now, there are such people that we call energy vampires, and we have to learn who they are. And sometimes we come to the point where we just simply have to ditch them. We have to come to a point, perhaps, that we have to make a decision to end a friendship. Now, energy vampires. You see this many a time with bosses and employees, or teachers and students, or abbots and monks, the monastics. Energy vampires are basically people who sometimes intentionally drain our emotional energy. They feed on our willingness to listen and care for them, leaving us exhausted and overwhelmed. These energy vampires know that they're doing this. This is a game that they're playing. They know that they're imposing on us and draining us of this, and they like it. And many times we don't know how to avoid that. Now, energy vampires can be anywhere and anyone, and they can even be your spouse or your best friend. Now, according to Healthline, they're the energy vampires. How to recognize these people and how to respond to them at home, work, and even more. An energy vampire is a person who sometimes intentionally drains us of our emotional energy, which is basically our life energy. They feed on our willingness to listen and care for them, leaving us exhausted and overwhelmed. Energy vampires can be anyone, anywhere, and they can be our spouse or our best friend. They can be our cubicle mate or even our neighbors. And learning how to identify and respond to this toxic behavior can help us preserve our energy and protect ourselves from a great deal of emotional and physical distress. They don't take accountability. Energy vampires are often very charismatic. They can be slick, and they slink out of trouble when problems arise. Most times they just say somebody else is to blame. They're crafty and may pin problems on someone else in almost every situation. They never accept culpability for their role in any disagreement or issue. They're often left holding the guilt and possibly the blame. For example, I can't believe no one could get this right. What an embarrassment. Or I just sat there. He kept getting angry at me and I still don't know what I did. Sometimes you have people, your friends, they irk you, they twist you, and they needle you, and then you say something, and then they forget what they said, but they always remember what you said, and they start gossiping about that to everybody even your own family, making you look bad instead of what they did to you. Now, they're always involved in some kind of a drama. Energy vampires always find themselves in the middle of a catastrophe, flailing from target to target with their emotional and dramatic behavior. When they've landed on you, they fling this drama onto you in hopes that you'll absorb it and fix it and right their ship. For example, Why am I always the one everyone gets mad at? I don't deserve this. I just can't take this anymore. I didn't do anything to Ellen, but she stopped talking to me. Why can't everyone just be as kind as you? They always one-up you. An energy vampire never likes to be outdone, and they aren't keen to share the spotlight, and this is one of their many narcissistic tendencies. They struggle to feel genuine happiness for another person. Instead, they prefer to pull energy and feed their emotional demands. For example, that's really good news. I actually applied for a new job today too, and I really need some help with my resume. Do you mind looking it over? So proud of you. Only 3 more certifications to go to catch up with me. They diminish your problems and play up with their own. Basically, they don't care about anybody else. That's what I think. They only care about themselves. They abuse and use everybody else around them, no matter who they are, unfortunately. There are psychologists that say that these people are psychotic. Anyway, energy vampires feed off your emotional energy, and if you're sad or upset, your energy supplies are dwindling. To drain the most energy from you, energy vampires will shift the attention of the discussion to themselves, turning your dismay into their emotional buffet. For example, I know your job doesn't pay well, but at least your job is fun. You have to help me find a new one. Or, you're super swamped at work, and I get it, but I really, really need to talk to you tonight about this issue with Mark. And they act like a martyr, like everybody's out to get them. Energy vampires place their problems squarely on the shoulders of other people. They take no responsibility for their contributions to their difficulties, and what they're seeking is emotional support to boost their self-esteem. For example, he's always so unreasonable. I do the best I can, but it's just never enough. Or, this day started off bad and it only got worse. And they use your good nature against you. People who are sensitive and compassionate are prime targets for energy vampires. You offer to listen, a listening ear, a kind heart, and endless energy. In that way, energy vampires use your very nature against you, draining you of your vitality. And for example, they monopolize your time at every social occasion so you can have as much of your energy as it can get. They know you'll feel guilty turning them down for coffee or a dinner date, so they ask regularly. They use guilt trips or ultimatums. Energy vampires often rely on guilt trips to get what they want. They know shame is a great weapon against people who are compassionate and caring. And likewise, ultimatums are an effective way to capture a person's attention and coerce them into doing something they otherwise may not want to do. For example, I don't know how you expect me to make it without you, I'll fall apart. Or, if you really care for me, you'll call him and tell him how much I love him. And they're also codependent. Codependency is a type of relationship where every action is designed to elicit a certain reaction from another individual. It's a vicious cycle of behavior, but energy vampires rarely recognize that they are in them. They use these relationships, often romantic ones, to continue spinning a cycle of drama and emotional need. For example, I know this isn't a good relationship, but it's so much better than trying to get over him and learn to date again. Or they'll say, if I just ignore him for a few days, he'll totally beg for forgiveness and come crawling back to me. And they criticize or they bully. At their core, energy vampires are often insecure, and they may use dehumanizing tactics and criticisms to keep their prey insecure as well. In this state, you feel like you owe them your attention and should continue to work to stop the unwarranted attacks. For example, I was too stupid to expect better from you. Everyone else treats me like garbage, so why not you? Or, you were in over your head from the beginning and I told you that. And they intimidate. One step removed from criticizing or bullying you, intimidation is a tool some energy vampires turn to when they need to stir up some emotional fodder. Fear is a very strong emotional reaction. If an energy vampire can upset you, they can bolster their ego. For example, I won't tell you this again and again. Or, you don't deserve a promotion. You don't show that you ever really wanted. And why it matters and what to do. Energy vampires demand a lot from the people they target. And this continuous drain is on your resources and can have a noticeable effect on your well-being. Over time, excess stress can lead to anxiety, depression, heart disease, panic attacks, and more. And that's why it's important to recognize the behaviors and then work to remove them. This may involve putting up walls to protect against any energy vampire's efforts, or removing that person from your life entirely. The ideas can not work for everyone, but you have to try them. You have to embellish your boundaries. Although this may be easier said than done, you can and should develop areas of your life where you won't allow an energy vampire to enter anymore. Don't agree to social events like dinner or coffee dates. Avoid weekend trips and other extended events where they'll be in attendance. And at work, you can limit interactions between the two of you by not agreeing to lunches and not stopping by their desk to chat. You may need to start small, focusing on a few areas, and then expand. And adjust your expectations. You can't fix an energy vampire, but you can reshape your expectations about them. This may involve shutting off your emotional valve and not offering advice when they vent their problems to you. And this may also mean you can't use them as any type of emotional release either. They'll want to reciprocate. And also, don't give them an inch. If an energy vampire calls, stop it. Or texts, or don't give them any room. Offer an excuse like, I'm too tired, I'm too busy. You could say that you've got plans, etc. And you have to guard your emotional capacity. Energy vampires use nonverbal cues to know when they have someone on the hook. Your facial expressions, the way you lean in, how you clasp your hands, the energy vampire can take these as signs of your investment. If you instead offer stone-faced responses and only offer short statements to their questions, you won't open yourself up to their demands, and you can reserve your energy for yourself. Of course, they won't like that. So cut them out entirely. I've done that to a couple of my friends I've known for tens of years. They didn't like it, but I felt much better. Now, in most cases, you have the freedom to excise this person from your life entirely, and this may seem dramatic, but you have to remember that you're protecting yourself in the end. And the bottom line, by recognizing the behaviors trying to put an end to it, you're protecting yourself, your health, and your overall well-being. And no one deserves to be mistreated or used in this manner, and it's certainly not your fault. Some people refuse to accept responsibility for their own emotional maturity, and that is not your burden to bear. And this is from Healthline. Also, I've translated it from a Greek article. I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.